G'day, Ben from Melbourne here. Wow, it's all been happening since we last spoke, hasn't it? Bloody upset at Wimbledon, changing of the guard. Some bloke pressed the wrong button on the internet and nearly brought the world down. Some old fella pulled out of the race over in America. Another bloke got a scratch on the ear for democracy while the poor bastard behind him actually got fucking killed. Dirty 3 released a new record for the first time in nearly 10 or 11 years, and of course played shows while I was overseas, and also Radio Birdman played their farewell shows over here while I was over bloody seas. And the big one, world leaders of the VC have recently convened at Mike Kelly MGK Boston at his ranch for what looked like a big weekend. Damn, I was jealous that I missed that. But anyway, that's the way shit goes. Oh, and one other thing happened. Remember that bloke Steve from All the World's a Stage? Guy who's got a great haircut like me. In fact, likes to dress up like me every now and then. I entered a competition of his way back, and I was one of the lucky prize winners for that. And it was an Amazon voucher, and finally it turned up. Well, it turned up while I was away, so not finally. And it was right up Steve's alley, what I ordered, because he loves indie rock and he loves the 90s. So I got the great UK band, Adorable, with their absolutely corking record Against Perfection. Sure, some of you UK dudes out there in the VC know this one and know how good this record is. Anyway, thought I would do a bit of a haul video of some of the shit that I picked up. We're going to concentrate on Canadia because it's quite a bit of shit, and otherwise it'll go. This is already going on, mate. And yeah, and I wanted to, concentrate on just one place for this video. Next one I'll do New York, and then the one after that I'll do good old Japan land. Anyway, first place I went to was Vancouver. That is a beautiful part of the world, I will say. The wilderness just outside of the city, pretty special. Don't get many hills or bears or, them weird looking trees you got over there. So that was pretty amazing. And you don't get Jack Vinyl Martini or Eric Iverson. Two wonderful dudes who I hooked up with. You all know Jack from his channel Vinyl Martini in the VC, and let me tell you, that hair in real life is even more special. And Eric, apparently Eric has an Instagram, I was going to say channel, let's just say he has an Instagram. I don't know about this shit, but he posts on that, and he's been a really cool, supportive commenter to my channel, and I notice he pops up on a lot of others as well. And I met up with those guys in a part of town called the Steamworks, I think. I probably got that wrong, but anyway, there's some clock which has steam coming out of it, and Jack told me it was bullshit. We hit 3 record stores. Well, before that we went to the pub, of course, to get up Dutch courage to talk to each other because we hadn't met before. No, they were both great guys. I'm just talking shit. Easy to get along with, really nice, and freaking tall. I was a bit worried everyone in Canada was that tall. Jackie's like a beanpole, and Eric wasn't far off him either. Yeah, we had a good lunch and a few beers, and then we took off to the record stores. Oh, before that, Eric presented me with the most Canadian record you could probably get, the Evaporators. I've had a Evaporators 7-inch for years and never put 2 and 2 together. The Nardwuar is in the Evaporators. Anyway, haven't had a chance to listen to this, but if it's what I remember the 7-inch to be like, this would be just good fun garage rock. So thank you again, Eric. That was very generous. You didn't have to bring me a record at all, but much appreciated, mate. And Jack got me nothing. Just the fact that the man made the effort, because neither of them actually live in Vancouver, so they did a bit of traveling to get to me as well. So after the lunch, we then went to a couple of record stores. One I can't remember the name of, but it was like you walked in and it had every record you could ever want in your dreams until you looked at the price of the records. It was off the hook. For example, like I saw 2 copies of Billy Bragg's Talking to the Tax Man about poetry, which were in pretty good nick. It's not like a super duper rare record or anything. And I wanted $70 for one of them and $60, that's Canadian, so that's like about $9 bazillion for me. It's like, unless, Billy hand-delivered them himself, I don't know why they're asking stupid prices like that. So, yeah, me and Jack will, stuff that place. And then we went to a place called Easy Street, I believe it was called, Easy Street Records. And unfortunately, Eric couldn't stick around. He had to go. It's pretty good of him to turn up, because I think he said he had his a function for his son. So I was like, man, I should be taking the back seat. Shouldn't have to be rushing back to an event for your son. But anyway, appreciate your time, mate. It was great. And so Jack, as you see on his video, which I'll leave a link below, bought a shitload of stuff. And I was trying to be a little bit more cautious, because I knew I was going to New York and Japan, which I always pick up heaps of records, and it's but in the end I wasn't cautious, and it was only this store I bought one record from, and it was a Michael Yonkers record. I know Michael Yonkers more from like the Micro Miniature Love album, which is more like garage rock kind of stuff, and an album he released a few years ago I got, which I just can't think of the name of right now. This is more like a freak folk sort of thing. Had a bit of a listen to this one. If you are going to get this, the last track of the first side, just take it off. It's like freak folk with possibly the worst fucking non-tuneful trumpet playing I've ever heard in my life. But the rest of it's pretty good. So off to an indifferent start. And then both Jack and Eric recommended a place called Neptune Records, which I went to the next day. Here's the bag. And it was great. Now, I went a bit silly in this store. Sorry, I got new goggles too in Japan. That's better. Anyway, this place was in a bit of a early 70s hard rock mood, because that's a lot of the stuff that they had. And things which I like influenced by watching, is it Dylan from Noble Records, who has his own label and also has some affiliation, I believe, with Gerson Records. Also, like Cosmic Brian, I think, has showed some of this stuff, and a few others. I got this few of these, which I've seen around the VC. This is St. Anthony's Fire. Just if you like writing easy records and that kind of thing, you'll like this. Is a band called Salt Lick. I got a 7-inch reissue of theirs, which is like really, really good. Like, a lot of these bands would, and some of them are actually on the Brown Acid series by Writing Easy. Spiny Norman, which is on Writing Easy Records. So we're getting pretty heavy here. And then English band Stack Waddy with Bugger Off. This is a bit more pub rock kind of thing. That pub rock sort of thing that was, a no frills kind of reaction to what was going on just before punk. And a lot of people in pub rock bands ended up in punk bands too. Back to like the more stonery kind of hard rock with Stonewall. And then the last one I got from there was some classic indie rock reissue of the Unicorns album, Who Will Cut Our Hair When We're Gone. So the music is as quirky as that front cover. Anyway, I went back the next day, got another bag, but I needed one because there are 2 or 3 I saw and put down, and I thought, no, I'm going to get these. And they were an awesome band, 9 Pound Hammer, which feel like a garage punk band from the late 80s and 90s, and it's on Crypt Records, so it's going to be awesome. Nearly saw them. That's a whole other side story, I will say, for the New York video, but just good garage punk and no bullshit stuff. The Pierced Arrows album, Descending Shadows. Pierced Arrows, of course, is Fred and Tootie from Dead Moon. Fred was actually the original singer of the Lollipop Shop, which one of their songs is on the Nuggets. Box sets or comp. If you like Dead Moon and all that thing, you're going to love this too. The only difference is just a different drummer. And lastly, I got 20 Miles, which is Judah Bauer, who is known for John Spencer Blues Explosion, and his brother, which I can't remember his name. I actually met them both years ago in the 90s when they came out and did an in-store at All Go-Go, and then had a beer with Judah that night when I went to the gig. Anyway, this is, it's kind of more on the bluesy end, but still garagey, much more bluesy than the Blues Explosion. And then I walked up the street a bit more, I think it was Main Street, and went to a place called Red Cat. And that was a bit too cool for school for me. But I did just buy one record, which was the Rollins Band first album, Lifetime, which was a corker. Good record. So that was Vancouver. Many other adventures were had, but for the sake of brevity, we're going to move on to Toronto, where I had a meetup with none other than Brian the Embryonic Robot and Romuald the French Vinyl Addict, who I saw over 2 days, and on the last day, I got to meet low noise Jason Skills. So a real bravara? No, I don't know. I was trying to sound like fancy then. Some fucking good dudes is basically what I was saying. So I arranged to meet French Vinyl Addict Romuald and Brian at Sonic Boom Records. So I was there first. Always be punctual when you're meeting new people, I say. And split level store, pretty cool. I was having a look downstairs there, and then I sent a text to Brian, let him know that I was there. And then at the top of the stairs with the light behind him, standing like a golden god, was Brian. It was like he was sent down from above by the angels. And all he said to me was, "This is so weird." Which I didn't think was weird until he said, "This is really weird," about 4 or 5 times. And then it became weird. But we got over it fast because right about then Romuald turned up not long after that. But Brian is everything you would want him to be. And we had a great couple of days. And to be honest, without being a dickhead, he was so generous with his time and took us to so many cool places. Yeah, what a champ. Would love to hook up with Brian again, maybe one day. I really loved Canada, but it's so goddamn far away. Anyway, so at Sonic Boom Records, I got Nick Cave, Tupelo 7-inch. I know, but I didn't have it. And The Fall, How I Wrote Elastic Man, 7-inch. Cracking track. Probably saw these on Brian's video, which I will also post links to. Everyone I talk about on this, who I met up with, I'll post links to their channels here. And they actually shot video. I was too in awe of these legends to think to get my camera out. Luckily, my wife was there and she took a few photos, but yeah, I wasn't ready for videoing. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just wanting to hang with these awesome dudes. And then, yes, it was a Michael Yonkers kind of visit to Canadia. I got another one. Now, this is a cracker. This is Micro Miniature Love, which I was talking about earlier. And this is a really, really freaking good record. Yeah, this is a reissue on Sub Pop. Check it out if you like that. I think this was actually recorded in the late 60s and it's got that garage rock sound we love. Right, and next, Brian took us to what I don't remember the name of, but it was a very warm record store. And that was where I found a Midnight Oil record for Brian. Whether he wanted it or not was another thing, but he went home with it. And I believe Romuald got, being the prog man that he is, picked up a early Supertramp record, I think it was. I don't know anything about Supertramp. I didn't even know that they were once prog. I only know the hits because my mum used to love them. Anyway, I didn't get anything in that store because it was just a bit too hot. And then we moved on, I think, yeah, we next went to a place called Cops with the K. And that I struck some more gold in the Gerson records and early 70s hard rock and almost proggy some stuff. I feel like I need to please the people I'm with, and Romuald was a very cool dude, a man of few words, but when he does speak, you better bloody listen because he's got interesting things to say. And so, this is why I ended up with things like this, which he ensures me is not too proggy. It's a more psychedelic thing, Jade Warrior. And I noticed in some of the comments of those dudes' videos, I was getting big props for having this record under my arm, Euclid's Heavy Equipment. Haven't had a chance to listen to this. I've only been back a week. And the Artwoods mod band, I believe that Artwood, which the band is named after, is Ronnie Wood's brother, is meant to be a banger as well. And Magic Ship, which is another Gerson title. It's a good label if you like your hard rock and stuff like that. So that was a great day. We ended up at the pub called the Something Nail, the Rusty Nail, the Hammer and the Nail. I don't know. It was a good pub. It was it was a nice enough day. We sat out the front, had a few beers. Brian had a few ciders. Probably seen his video. He has a few stomach issues with certain things called the glutens. But that doesn't keep a good man down. He had a couple of ciders, rocked hard. Romuald had to leave at that point. Got to experience a fire alarm go off and lots of firemen come in and then get pissed off to only realise that it was for next door where they were doing building. So that was interesting. Then we had dinner at a place not too far from there, which was really good. And then, it was like 10 o'clock or something, and poor old Brian rode his bike home. And then we did it all again the next day. Like, I actually met up with Romuald at a brewery, which was a humid, hot day, and it took us about 64 years to get there. So by the time I got there, I was tonguing for a beer, baby. So I was like, screw the record stores, let's just hang out. Romuald met his lovely wife as well, and we just drank some beers and chatted, and that was good. up parting ways because I had to go back home, and then made my way to a place called She Said Boom to meet Jason and Brian yet again, and that was awesome. Jason was one of those dudes, like, as soon as you meet him, you feel like you've known him your whole life, and we just were talking shit straight away. Good man, full of beans, interesting cat. Again, felt like I needed to please the people I was with. Although I didn't really buy anything that probably pleased Brian, because I kept making him buy Midnight Oil records. He also bought another one at another store at Cops as well, which, I don't know, it's just the power of the oils. And I saw in one of MGK Boston's videos, he even bought a AC/DC video or DVD. I think I might have broken the goth side of him, and he just wants straight up Australian rock. Anyway, I bought this NME compilation of all bands doing Beatles songs, but it's not as bad as it seems. But I still yet to have listened to it. Well, the second track seems like it's as bad as it seems because it's wet. But anyway, we'll ignore that one. But it's also got The Wedding Present, Billy Bragg, Frank Sidebottom, Sonic Youth, Michelle Shocked. Well, she's been cancelled, hasn't she? The Triffids, and finishing off with I Can't Wait to Hear the Falls version of A Day in the Life. So Australian connection with the Triffids. And then Jason said, oh, that's a great 7-inch. Not that I really needed more 7-inches because I've got thousands of them. I bought the Birds 7-inch of You Ain't Going Nowhere, which is a great track, and I've got it on a record anyway. But that's the shit you do. And then we hang out for more beer and more food, and then Jason left. And then another Brian turned up, who's actually a friend of Brian's, and he hung out and chatted with us. That was like 11:30 by the time we left. I was a bit pissed by the end of that because I'd had beers with Romuald, and more beers after that. But it was a fun time. And then, speaking of it pierced down rain on the way home, and I'm sure Brian got absolutely soaked because he was on his bike and I was on foot. And that was my Canadia adventure. And this is a long video, sorry, and there will be photos throughout, but I hope you enjoy it. And it's good to be back in the saddle, peeps, and I'll see you in the next one. Alright.